But if you Florida guys here, yeah, it's got some, look at the speedometer. Yeah, this thing goes. It's got some pretty good pickup, to be honest. So good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're gonna get behind the wheel of a 2022 Ford E-Transit cargo van. Now, very interesting, as it's going to be the first kind of commercial vehicle in the channel, and especially driving sort of a commercial van. Now, this one especially is an electrified van. Obviously, it's got no motors; it's basically a single electric motor. But it's going to be a very interesting drive. Now, guys, I do apologize. I have not been uploading as much as I have. Fortunately, if you saw the Accord or the previous basically video that I did, I mentioned that I was kind of sick. I got COVID catch up to me, and after that, I was trying to recover, and then we have hurricane incoming, so that kind of slowed down things a little bit for me in terms of coming out and doing some more videos. But here we are, guys, continuing on and getting some more Becky Ski back on schedule. Now, what we have, you guys, here we have a 2022 Ford E-Transit cargo van. This one here is slightly used, even though it is put on the used inventory. It's only got 55 miles, so it's basically still brand new. This one here is finished off in Oxford white with a kind of a dark gray vinyl, what they call Palacio vinyl interior. Now, as you can see, guys, what distinguishes this E-Transit, of course, from the rest of the transit cargo vans, of course, we got the little blue lines here distinguishing that it is an E-Transit. As you can see, guys, here in the front, kind of your basic thing, and we squeeze this in, and we have your little door here for your connection for charging this little girl. So pretty interesting van. Obviously, it's really nice. This is gonna be my first time, well, I kind of driven it here, but obviously it's gonna be my first time out really on the highway driving this basically commercial van, and it's going to be an electric one as well. So as you can see, guys, the styling is basically, as always, just kind of the same boring delivery van, but it's kind of interesting to see how an electric van like this drives, especially driving it for your first time. Now, there is a lot of versions of this transit van. Of course, you can get them all kinds of wheelbases, all kinds of heights. Now, this one here that we have with us here is the 148 wheelbase version. This one does have the medium height right, or the medium height roof. You can get a higher one, or you can get a little lower one. Now, of course, this doesn't have any type of windows or anything like that. This is kind of your base commercial van. Now, here we have this. The styling is not bad. Obviously, we got some decent sized doors. These are kind of thin, narrow windows that come down, which is interesting, but you have a bigger window here as well. We have basically commercial kind of mirrors. We do have 16-inch wheels here with Continental light van duty tires. Obviously, these are kind of all-season looking tires. So coming back here, guys, you can see it's got the longer wheelbase. There's also a 130-inch wheelbase, and of course, you get higher, lower. And so here, coming here in the back, as you can see, guys, we got big long doors here to kind of swing out. We got your E-Transit. As you can see, guys, we have here the E-Transit name on the logo here on the door. Of course, this is Ford. Now we're gonna come around inside, yes, just a few moments, but take a look at just the exterior styling. It's your basic van, nothing crazy. Sorry, guys, for checking out the styling here. First, nothing crazy. Obviously, this is not meant for a stylish van. This is more of a utilitarian type of use to it, and of course, look to it. Now, this one that we have here, guys, it's just got your standard hydrogen headlights. We got standard hydrogen turn signals here. We got some fog lights here on the bottom as well. We do have some sensors here as well. Of course, you got the little door as I showed you before to plug it in here. Your E-Transit little door. So the styling on me is just a regular van. Nobody really pays attention to these things, of course, because obviously they all kind of look the same. Whether it's Ford Transit, you got the Ram, also the Ego, they call some of the Master, I think they call that. I forgot, I put it up on the screen, guys. And everybody else. So what else? Mercedes-Benz got the Sprinter. So basically, those are the three companies kind of provide this type of vans that I'm aware of. Please don't call me that. Of course, there might be some other vehicles, but the ones I've seen here, well, we see locally here, basically driving up your street, delivering, whether it's Amazon Prime, or you got FedEx or UPS or DHL, whoever's delivering. We see these vans all the time in neighborhoods, and especially nowadays that everything's getting delivered. I see these vans probably in my street probably 5-6 times a day easily. So let's go ahead and check out the rear of this E-Transit. So let's go ahead up into the doors. We gotta kind of slide them all the way up here, and we got a little latch here that we can just slide over here, guys. So we got a lot of room here. Of course, this is massive. You can do anything. You carry a lot of stuff in here. Now, this is rated for about 3,600 pounds of payload capacity. Obviously, depending on the model, if it's a longer one or the shorter one, that kind of depends. It's kind of like a sort of like a pickup truck. It depends which model, you know, what trim you get. Basically the weight differs on what you can carry on them. So obviously, this is, you know, a pretty good size, you know, considering the vans. You know, I'm not an expert on these things, but it's pretty cool. Obviously, you got all type of rubber lining all around here. We got some LED lighting, and of course, we got the sliding door over here. Now, this one you can also option off with the Pro package or the, you know, you can get the connections. I don't see any connections on this one here, so this doesn't have the Pro power connection. You get about 2.5 kilowatts, if I'm correct, of power into one of these, so you can power some tools and stuff. But this one does not have it, if I'm correct. I don't see any type of connections anywhere. So, as I mentioned, we got about 3,600 pounds of payload capacity, and of course you get your swinging doors. Now, of course, I'm sure you can option out some windows, whether or not, depending on the model, but of course we can spend all day with that. But this is just your base version of this e-travel van here, of this e-transit. So it's pretty cool. Here, guys. What powers this e-transit vehicle? So coming here to the back, guys, we do have a single electric motor that is driving the rear wheels. We probably can see it. I do take some video, guys. I'll put it up on the screen for you guys here, but it is an single electric motor that's powering the rear wheels. This is an independent rear suspension, and we got a 68 kilowatt battery that's basically right in front of this one here. So we got no spare anything like that because obviously it won't fit. But basically this is producing just about 266 horsepower, driving the rear wheels. We'll talk about it in just a few moments, but you know, it's pretty decently nice. That's a nice pickup of what I just lightly drove it here. Now, of course, there are all kinds of models here you can do. Depending on that, the payload will change depending on the model, the wheelbase, all that kind of stuff changes. And I'm sure you can probably option off all-wheel drive, not on this one, but obviously on the gas models as well. So all right, let's go ahead and open up this door here, guys. You can see it's not powered at all, but you have here your room. You can put all stuff through here, which is pretty cool. Obviously pretty big. As you can see, there's your LED lights, and here we have the cockpit. Here we have those vinyl seats, those dark grayish Palacio seats. There's a little more storage here in the bottom. Of course, here's your basically your charging cord that comes with it, and there's some paper that comes with this one here as well. But it's pretty tall, pretty nice, and high ceiling. Before you get a little higher ceiling, but as you can see, we do have some extra storage here in the front of the cockpit as we're gonna go up in the front in just a few moments. But pretty nice, pretty cool, interesting. You got little steps here as well, and I'm sure you can probably get this powered. I don't know, it might not be an option, but that's not check it out, but I'll put those details up for you guys up in the description of the video. All right, guys, let's go and check out. We do have basically a hood on this e-transit. Let's see what's underneath here. Pop the hood there and check it out. So coming here to the hood of this e-transit. Now, of course, here we got let's go ahead and put our little hood right here and insert that up here. No, that goes actually right here. So there we go, guys. So here we have basically not much here at all. Of course, you got the rear, basically your electric motor in the rear. This is basically all the electronics here. As you can see, we do have some coolant. We do have probably some window washer fluid as well, of course, brake fluid, that kind of stuff. But it's kind of interesting the way all this. I'm not an electric vehicle specialist, but it is pretty interesting to see all this kind of cooling wire. Of course, you got this electric steering, all that kind of stuff here as well. But it's pretty interesting to see, guys. Everything kind of, there's no drag shift on this at all. Of course, just the engine sits in the rear axle. But as you can see, guys, we got the of course, we got the windshield fluid here as well, and we got some sort of cooling stuff that could be cooling for batteries, all that kind of stuff for the basically for fans and all kind of things. But obviously pretty interesting way to see. So not much to look, I guess, here. Now this fan is powered by, of course, as mentioned, the electric engine is producing 266 horsepower and 317 pound-feet of torque. That is basically connected to a single speed transmission, so there's no CVT or anything like that. Basically it's a single speed transmission, which is pretty interesting to see, guys. So this is just rear-wheel drive, no all-wheel drive version of this electric vans available, but I'm sure you can probably get the all-wheel drive ones on the regular gas engines as well, depending on the model, all kinds of things. So, but all right, guys, let's go ahead and drop this engine off, the hood off, put this thing back down to where it goes, and drop the hood of this e-transit. Let's go ahead, guys, and check out just the base interior of this e-transit. Of course, not much to show in terms of interior, but of course we got just commercial grade plastics over here. We do have power windows. Here we got those Palazzo gray dark seats here, which is kind of a vinyl, which is really interesting. It feels pretty good and soft, but it does feel pretty strong as well. We've got some sort of cup holder here, some sort of storage place here. We do have your basically your glove box here, which is not bad at all. As you can see, guys, there's a big compartment area here in the front. There's nothing sort of connections on this side, but we do have a 12 volt, a USB here, and another cup holder here as well. Looks like to put some coins. Obviously this is pretty basic. You got some storage here on the top as well, and of course you got a pretty big windshield as well with that, but it's not bad at all. I mean, it's pretty interesting, it's pretty comfortable. You can, of course, these are all manual seats, you can just adjust fore and aft, but not bad at all. I mean, considering, you know, you get a 12-inch screen here, which is part of that comes with this e-transit. This is pretty, you know, got navigation. We'll check out in just a few moments, but not bad at all in terms of the interior of this transit vans at all. So first time I kind of see inside and check them out. We got another cup holder here as well, as you can see, guys. So lots of cubicles, a lot of things to put in, but pretty interesting interior. So let's go ahead, guys, and go to the driver's side. Now, of course, this is all just commercial plastic here, guys. No really comfort here. We got window controls. We got basically your locks here. Of course, the window does come down, but it is a little narrower than usual. Very narrow window. Of course, the whole window doesn't come down, just this part here. Now, coming here, guys, into the interior a little bit, we got a cup holder. We got some storage here on the top. Now, of course, there's a manually tilting and telescoping steering wheel. We have lights, controls for your lights here. Of course, your mirrors. We got the parking brake. We got your auto hold there, and of course, here we got the mirror, the manual seats. These are your more like a black, but they're called dark gray Palacio vinyl seats. So pretty interesting. Now, of course, as you can see, we got some more storage here on the top. Of course, you get your big sunshade there as well, and we got a little handle here. So let's go ahead, guys, and jump into this interior. So all right, we're already inside of this interior. Now, this seems pretty comfortable. Obviously, you see it a little higher. You see quite high. It's like a big van, but you got a huge windshield here. And of course, we got no rear view mirror. Of course, this does not have. Now, you got a little thing here to put a rear view mirror, but of course, it's having no rear windows. You can't really see. You just have to rely on basically on your side mirrors here, and of course, you get a reverse camera. So as you can see, guys, really nice interior. Not bad at all. I mean, in terms of a commercial grade type of vehicle, it's not bad. Of course, you got a little dial here for your gear changes. Of course, you got, as I mentioned before, coming inside, we have here another cup holder, USB connection here, 12 volt. We do have another USB connection here as well, and another 12 volt. A little more storage space here on the top. Not bad. Let's go ahead, guys, and turn this on. Now, obviously, interesting thing, because obviously you do have a key for this thing, so it's no start, no button for push start on. So basically, you're gonna have to just put your key the old way here, the old-fashioned here. Now, what's interesting, you kind of turn this thing on like a regular car. You have to kind of hit the on and just let it go, and the vehicle is on. So really interesting to see that kind of way that works. Now, as you can see, guys, we got the 12-inch screen here that says transit, which is a pretty cool screen. So the screen that's basically on the Ford F-150, kind of that size, really cool. Now here in the middle, of course, we got analog gauges. We have basically, as you can see, it's really cool that we have basically like a gauge, like a gas gauge, but it's basically electric power. You can might hear some of the engine light up. So the vehicle is on. We have basically a digital speedometer, and of course you got a semi-tach here that kind of shows you recharging or where you're braking, and it's recharging the system as well a little bit, but it does kind of regenerative braking. So really cool. I mean, you got the ACs already coming on. As you can see, we got some AC outlets here. That's got plenty of AC outlets. As I mentioned here, we got basically your instrumentation. There's this little small digital screen there that shows your information. Of course, you got cruise control, and of course you got also all controls here for your center screen. The vehicle is on. We'll say okay. Driver door is on. Yes, of course. So I see we got a digital speedometer as well. We got all kinds of information there, not a lot. Of course, we got an analog speedometer here, and also kind of a tag that shows you that where your kind of RPMs are in the electric engine, but obviously that's not kind of go. It mostly shows you this got some regenerative braking as well when you let go of the gas or you're braking. All that information, not a ton of information, but it just show you here. Coming back here, got to this to the screen. Of course, we got a 12-inch screen here that's centered on these e-transit ones. Of course, you got controls here for your AC as well. As you can see, you can control that here as well. We got all the bottom here is for your basically your AC controls. Now we go back to home screen. Now it is on home screen, excuse me. We do have, if we press it here, we have basically navigation as part of this. Navigation is standard on this one here. We go back home. Of course, you got your stereo, which is a 6-speaker stereo, your base stereo. That doesn't sound bad, but obviously you got no sound denied or anything like that in this. So this is just basically just speakers with sound. There is 6 speakers on this thing though, 2 in the very back doors and 1 on the bottom here and 2 here. So interesting to that. So you can add a phone. We got features. We got all types of settings you can do, navigation, of course, sound, all that kind of stuff, all the general stuff. And of course, this one is pretty cool. It's pretty quick to the touch and all that kind of stuff. So we're basically I'm pretty impressed that this got this kind of screen, especially in this type of commercial vehicle. But other than that, guys, there we go. We got your little dial here for, of course, selecting gears, and of course you get your headsets here as well. Other than that, we got a glove box here. As you can see, we got the manual there. It's pretty decent size, but there's a lot of nook and crannies to put that kind of stuff in here for your delivery drivers or your business. So but let's go ahead, guys, and let's go out for a drive. All right, guys, so adjusting my seats a little bit here. Let's plumb this down a little bit here. So let's go ahead and close the door. So visibility is quite nice in this. I'm going to put on my seatbelt so we can take this on a particular first street right here. There we go. So there's obviously, as you can see, guys, the cabin is pretty, there's a lot of echo. Of course, this is all just burnt metal. There's a lot of storage here as well. You can put some things here, probably papers and all that stuff. There's some lights here, but that's about it. Pretty basic. And as I mentioned, we have no rear view mirror. So of course, this have no rear windows. You can't see through the back. I'm sure you can get a rear view mirror once if you put or option off some windows through those rear doors. So, but other than that, the mirrors do a pretty good job. They're pretty good size. And but there we go, guys. Let's go ahead, guys, and head out on a drive on this E-Transit. Now, before we go, guys, I apologize. Yes, just check out the rear view camera. Fantastic graphics on this camera. We do have trajectory lines, as you can see, and sensors as well, as you can hear. And we do have the sensors here as well, as you can see there. Now, pretty cool. The camera is fantastic. It shows you all around. The graphics are really nice and crisp. Now, as you can see, the camera does break into 3. We got the parking sensors here. You can turn off and on. And if we go back here, guys, you can definitely basically zoom into the bottom here as well. So pretty cool, pretty intuitive, really nice camera. The quality and that's pretty interesting to see. It's really nice as well. So, but all right, let's go ahead, guys, and we'll just put here. You can see we use your regular home button here. Will push it to basically your navigation, your stereo system, and all that kind of stuff here. So, but all right, guys, let's go ahead and go out on a drive on this E-Transit. Now, as you can see, guys, we have the tank. If you see that the tank does say that we got about 3/4 of a tank, or at least battery life left. Pretty interesting the way they do that. Instead of being sort of like a graph or a percentage, they put like a regular gas, which is pretty interesting. So, but let's go see, guys, how this drives. Now, obviously, being an electric vehicle is pretty quiet. Let me sure there's nobody here. Let's do a quick turn around here. See how good the turning radius is. It's not bad at all. It's kind of the same as like a Ford F-150. But very interesting. Obviously, it's quiet, but you're going to hear a lot more electrical noise here on this one because obviously there's no sound deadening on this thing at all. So it's pretty interesting. Now, of course, this is rear-wheel drive, so it's going to feel pretty nice. I just love the way it looks. You're sitting a little higher, and the whole window is just very panoramic. Feels like you're sitting on sort of like an airplane cockpit. I don't know. Really interesting, the feeling it gives you. Now, there goes the locks. They locked up automatically. So what we guys here, we have basically a electric engine, guys, producing 266 horsepower and 317 pound-feet of torque. Now, this thing being pretty much empty right now, it's going to feel pretty decently quick, as most of these electric vehicles do. Now, I can tell this feels, it's not going to be any type of handling or anything like that. But let's go in and make, it's got some pretty decent torque for sure. Now, obviously, I want to turn here and let's wait. Now, let's go for those guys going to turn. So, but it does feel interesting. I mean, it's very, I would say the electric experience, well, we get a little bit on. I mean, I'm still getting used to it as on the street here. It's pretty quiet. There is some rattling and stuff like that, because obviously this is a commercial vehicle. Nothing, I'm not expecting, there's no Sunday night or anything like that. But it's not bad. I mean, it feels pretty nice. The visibility makes it feel to drive easily. So I'm sure a lot of some of my viewers are, some of you guys probably get behind the wheel of this as your daily, it's basically your daily job delivering. But let's see, guys, let's go ahead and step on this a little bit. Make sure there's nobody behind us here. It goes pretty nice. It's got some good torque, as expected of electric vehicle. Yeah, you can hear the motor, you can hear a bit of the road noise and that. Obviously, this is a commercial vehicle. I'm not expecting this thing to be quiet, but it drives nice. The suspension is, I haven't got any big bumps, but it does feel stable and pretty comfortable in terms of commercial. I mean, if I've driven a Ford F-450, kind of that, kind of jumpy, nervous suspension, but this feels pretty solid, to be honest. Obviously, this thing weighs 9,500 pounds, so it's no lightweight. So once you get this thing full of, up to the 3,600 pounds, I'm sure the acceleration is going to be a little slower. But the brakes, of course, we get generative braking. As you can see, guys, we're doing some generative braking. Now, if I take off my foot off the gas, it does come to a stop. That's part of the generative braking that this thing has. But not bad. I mean, this is pretty interesting to drive one of these. Something very different. I've never gotten to drive one of these, and especially, an electric version of a commercial truck or a commercial van. This is my second vehicle driving, or second electric vehicle that I get to drive. The first one is the Ford Mustang Mach-E that I drove about a year ago, a little more than a year ago. So really interesting to get behind the wheel of my second electric vehicle. Now, of course, we put it on. You can see this thing, yeah, it does move. It does move pretty easily. Of course, it's empty, but Now the handling, yeah, you feel high. This thing doesn't feel like it's got a lot of stability, but we're doing 50 and it's not bad at all. Now the feeling of sitting high, you feel a little more vulnerable because obviously you don't have a lot of front nose, so you have to be a little more, you know, kind of careful-ish of what, you know, you're. Now of course having a rear view mirror does take some getting used to. You have to rely on your side mirrors, guys. I'm sorry if I'm moving the camera a little bit, but just checking, make sure we got no interesting people behind us. So yeah, it does go pretty easy. I mean, if you floor it, it does have some good power. It does take off. Obviously this is empty, so it's gonna be pretty fast on its own in an empty van, but it doesn't feel bad. The stability is pretty decent. Now this vehicle does take pretty much the whole lane, but sitting high kind of doesn't make it feel that way. It's just, I mean, the steering is a little slow, but yeah, this is a, you know, a high vehicle, so you can definitely feel there's no sort of, you know, handling or anything like that. But I'm sure if you got some more weight into this, it'll feel a little more stable, maybe settle the suspension a little bit better. But as you can see, guys, a lot of trees on here. There's some water here as well that you can see that's pretty much flooded there. So that's some of the remnants of Hurricane Ian that we had here just a little bit. Look at that. So that the river doesn't be that high. So there's still some flooding going around, guys. So oh, my heart goes out to all those people that, you know, lost their lives in Hurricane Ian down there in Fort Myers area, and especially all the people, a lot of people got affected through a lot of flooding, and of course the Fort Myers, Punta Gorda area, Sanibel, all that stuff got really devastated. So my heart goes out to all those people out there, and hope I bring a little bit of difference, you know, a little bit of entertainment for you here reviewing this commercial van to anybody who needs it. So, but very interesting, guys, very interesting. Everything's here at your fingertips. Pretty, you know, pretty interesting the way these vans are. You know, a lot of people might turn these things into basically commercial or basically an RV. You know, you can definitely put some really nice interior into this thing if you do what you know you can do. But as an electric vehicle, this is probably will not make sense having this as an RV, because this thing's got no range at all if you want to take it off on a long drive. So 126 miles of range is not a lot. You see, guys, I've driven a little bit. It has calmed down a little bit. So I'm sure this thing will load it up, and people, the way they drive today, it's not going to last more than 80 miles. So interesting the way this is. Interesting driving experience. But if we floor you guys here, yeah, it's got some, look at the speedometer. Yeah, this thing goes. It's got some pretty good pickup, to be honest. So I'm sure some people like to have fun in this. It's like a, you know, when I drove, oh no, excuse me, I am wrong. I did drive the Ford F-150 Lightning, so that was my second electric vehicle. This will be my third. I do apologize for that. Yeah, this thing kind of similar. Of course, the F-150 is much quicker, and I only drove the base version of that. This having 266 horsepower and the 317 pound torque, it does feel good. But of course, we get an empty vehicle, as I just mentioned. So now in terms of handling, yeah, this thing feels like a big bus. You know, there's no stability. Yeah, this thing is not. Yeah, this thing feels light. It is heavy, but and you can feel it button down. But yeah, this still feels top heavy. So not by any means any type of handling of vehicle. Of course, if you load it up, it'll give you a little more stability. But at 60 miles an hour, I mean, it's not quiet. There's quite a bit of some engine noise, some electric noise. There's quite a bit of a little bit of rattles. There is road noise as well. So it's not by any means an quiet vehicle. Now it is quieter because there's no engine, but it's still pleasant. The seats are comfortable. The driving experience is very nice. It's just kind of interesting way it is. The visibility is fantastic. Obviously not behind you because there's got no rear mirror, but in terms of looking at the mirrors, it's not bad at all. You can pretty much keep an eye on everything that is around you. And if you give a little punch, yeah, it does go. It does have some good punch power, even at this speed. So pretty impressive, especially being a commercial van. So my hats off to all those guys who drive these things for, you know, for daily living. It's not bad, but obviously getting in and out and all that stuff, man, yeah, it's not an easy job to do for all that. But let me know, guys, what you think of this e-transit van. Obviously a lot of people, here's another one here, as you can see, guys. So we have, in terms of competition, of course, you got the Mercedes-Benz Sprinter, which is kind of the first type of this vans that came into this US market. Now Ram has another one called the I forgot the name of it. It was some sort of wagon or some sort of power or something. Okay, I think that's the only three companies that kind of build this type of vehicles. Of course, you got Ford, Ram, and Mercedes-Benz. I don't know if any other maybe possibly like International or some other van company or truck company might build something similar to this. But as an electric vehicle, I think Ford is the only one that does it. I'm not aware, maybe Mercedes-Benz does have an electric transit, but this one here, Pretty interesting, pretty unique vehicle. Want to give a big shout out to Bartow Ford guys for allowing me some time in this vehicle. So really interesting the way they get to drive something like this. I'm sure not a lot of people have driven an electric commercial vehicle, let alone an electric vehicle, let alone a commercial electric vehicle. So pretty interesting experience. Feels pretty normal, feels pretty natural. If you're in a, if you have a small business that you're not driving a ton, maybe like an in-city business that you need to carry quite a bit of stuff, this is a pretty good vehicle. I'm sure the mileage, you can plug it back in while you're waiting for more orders or waiting for another go around. But yeah, the gas in terms of the range, it might not make big sense for like a, sort of like a Amazon or something like that, where you're going long distances. But in terms of what it is, I mean, I take my hats off to Ford for doing something like this. There's a bit of rattles, you can squeaks, but that's just normal. I mean, this is an open vehicle. I'm not surprised to hear that ton of stuff. Even though this is a brand new vehicle, it's not bad at all. So let me know what you guys think. Pretty interesting vehicle to drive. The experience is not bad. I've always got some generative braking. That's normal. If you have never driven an electric vehicle, that's something that's kind of interesting to kind of get used to. In terms of driving, the size, it doesn't feel bad. It's not intimidating. This is probably feels a little easier to drive than, for example, than a big huge truck. Of course, I've driven that F450. That's more intimidating. This is more, you're sitting high, so you feel more in command on the road. You got a lot of visibility here in front, which is really nice. So but yeah, guys, let me know if you're in a business or anybody kind of been experienced this type of vans. Now, I do apologize if I don't know all the details. I don't want to extend this video too long. Of course, there's a lot of configurations to this type of vehicles, then let alone all the things you can do to them. So, but as an electrified experience, it does make sense. Obviously, you're not wasting gas or anything like that. And we still haven't really touched a lot. And we only went around about 4 or 5 miles, so it did go down a little bit the range. But other than that, guys, it's not a bad vehicle. Definitely not bad at all. The driving is pretty easy to do. So let's go ahead and just redo the reverse camera. Guys, you can see got very crisp graphics, and of course we got trajectory lenses there. Really cool the way that is. So let's go to put this in park, guys. So let me know, guys. This e-Transits, they start just over $50,000. That's the base price. This one here right now is in Bartow Ford as a used car inventory. They're asking $66,000. Now I don't know what options are on this thing. Not a lot of options, but you can definitely add a lot of options like the Pro Power, different assist, a 360-degree camera. I'll put all those details up before in the video, guys, or up in the description below the video. So, but let me know what you guys think. I think it's a pretty decent vehicle. Something different to drive. Now, as I mentioned, it is my third electric vehicle. I do drive the Ford Mach-E, the Mustang Mach-E, of course, the F-150 Lightning, and now this e-Transit. So pretty interesting vehicles. It is probably something that it's coming to our near future, of course. Depending, of course, we gotta get that power grid better, because if everybody had an electric car right now, there's no way in hell that power grid would take it. So alright, guys, thank you so much for watching. I thank you guys. I apologize I haven't loaded more videos, but there's gonna be some more videos coming. I'm taking a small trip that's gonna be about a week, so I'll be back. I might take some videos out where I'm going. You'll probably see that on this channel. But thanks so much for watching, guys. Thank you to all that has subscribed. We're on our way to 1,000 subscribers. I really appreciate every one of you that's tuning in. Thank you so much, guys. If you have not hit that subscribe button, please do support the channel and help me get to 1,000 subscribers. We're only about a little less than 300 subscribers away. So thanks so much for watching, guys. Have a fantastic day, and we'll see you on the next video, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.